Another one.
Feeling lack of self-worth in QA. Well, you know how we started off this one. That is so unfortunate, but maybe I can help you out, right? I am a fresher from India, and in India they use the term fresher to mean like they're new. To like they're like entry level, new to QAs or whatever position they're doing. I'm a fresher from India that just joined a product based company as a quality assurance engineer. Shout out to you. I would be working with Playwright. I'm feeling a lot of complex emotions right now and was wondering if anyone with experience in the field can help me out. The placements in my college were very limited, and this was compounded by the fact that I had an active backlog because of which I was unable to sit in 80% of the placement drives. Finally, by the stroke of luck, I got selected for a QA automation role 1 week ago. Before finding a job, I was thinking, God, please give me anything. After getting this job, I'm feeling a development role would have been nicer. Oh my! You see, this is what I'm talking about, right? This is what I'm talking about. You were begging God for anything, and God said, "Okay, here's this QA role," and you're like, "Well, God, I know I said anything, but a development role would have been a little bit better. Would have been a little like you son." Aww. You know what? You get one of these.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Right? I got into QA automation because of lack of choice. You could have not accepted it. And I don't think it's anyone's first choice either, at least in my limited experience. So I am feeling a lack of self-worth and self-importance for this role. There is no specific question. I just wanted to help to get over this mental block that quality assurance is for losers, and development is the real deal. Well, and they came back and says, I understand why some people found this post offensive, but I wanted to describe my thought process in as much detail as possible so people with more experience can help me. Thank you for all your feedback. Well, let's get it on, right? So, Mr. Fresher, who is just out of college, who is so unappreciative of the position that potentially and allegedly God gave you, which you are totally ungrateful for. Well, my friend, maybe God is testing you. Or maybe you got lucky and you got a job. Who knows? But is QA for losers? No, QA is not for losers because in QA, we are the last line of defense. And sometimes goals are scored on us. Sometimes we're dunked on. Sometimes we get bombed. You know, we get a Randy Moss bug that gets past us, you know. But at the end of the day, we are part of the team. We're part of the team. And I think here's the biggest thing with this is why QA gets such a bad rap, because so many people in QA, right? Not anybody that I work with, because I make sure that they don't have this mindset, but they just sit around and wait. They're waiting for the developer to tell them what to do. They put themselves in the positions of being second-class citizens instead of joining the conversation, contributing, understanding the story, researching, taking on tasks so that they can add value to the team. So it gives them a negative connotation because people they end up looking like, oh, they're just gonna sit around and wait and twiddle their thumbs, and then once instead of because there's another common complaint in QA where, oh, we don't have enough time to test because the developers get the work done by this time, and then we have 3 to 4 days to test everything and whatever, right? And it might be multiple stories. Where I say is, if you're doing agile and you're in a sprint, what are you doing while the developers are actually doing the implementation? Are you sitting around and waiting? Or are you actually figuring out what you're going to be testing? Are you writing out your test scenarios? Are you preparing automation? Are you able to do pretty much all the automation and just plug in data here and there so that once the development is done, you can run your automated test and it gets you like 75% of the way, and then you can just start looking at information? Are you contributing to the infrastructure that your QA tests are going to be running on? Or do you outsource that to everyone? See, so those are the things that I'm thinking about as a QA engineer. I'm always looking to see, okay, how can I make my life easier? Number one, how can I make my life easier? Which, if I can make my life easier as a QA engineer, then it should be able to translate to my developers' lives easier. And then it should be able to translate to my team's life easier. And then to my manager, to the company as a whole, to the customers. You know, looking for strategies. So why, all right. And here's the thing, right? As QA, you should be, maybe you're not going to be as knowledgeable as developers in the code and stuff like that, but you should be looking at it, right? Look at the pull requests that are being open. Do you know what a pull request is, right? Look at those. Be part of the team. Ask questions about the risk, like identify a risk. Ask questions about, okay, how is this supposed to work? How would you see us testing it? Are you meeting with the developers? Those are the things that I look to do to add value. Like at work, I'll jump into Terraform to create some infrastructure or create some users and stuff like that for automation to work properly. I've used Terraform to create the Elastic Container Registry to store our Docker image. All those things are being done. So that when people say like, oh, you know, lack of value, all this type of stuff, no self-worth, look, there is only one person who can, should, and will define your self-worth. It's not a developer. It's not a position or a title or a manager or a company or whatever, right? It's the person in the mirror. You define your self-worth and you go out there and you do a great job at whatever it is you're doing. If you are being a full-time fisherman drinking a can of beer, like by the canal by our house with Tony, be the best fisherman that there is. If you're in data, the work that you do, you have to be proud of yourself for the work that you do. And then that's going to translate over. But feeling a lack of self-worth, no, it's on you because you don't put in the effort that you should put. You don't make yourself proud of the work that you're doing. And that's totally on you. I feel absolutely no sympathy whatsoever. You are ungrateful. And we're gonna wrap it up with this. We're going to remind you that you asked God for anything, and He gave you a role as a QA engineer. What so many people would kill to be in your role, literally, like they would, right? And you are ungrateful. A development role would have been better. Well,
if you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.
Enigmatic Joker.